Welcome, everybody.
We are live.
My name is Jaylen Moore.
I am Andrew Pasquini.
We're working. That's it. We're working over here. That's it. Let's go Niners.
Let's go Niners.
Sprint Ride Option Podcast.
Hey, we are live. Second day in a row here on the Sprint Ride Option Podcast. I am Andrew Pasquini, joined as always by the lovely Jason Aponte. Hey, Mason made it. That's something we're going to talk about here in a little bit. The 49ers cut the roster down to 53. Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch said some words. I'm sure there was a lot that was spoken about the quarterback position, and we're going to dive into that a little bit as well. Jason, how you doing on this lovely Tuesday? 2 days in a row now we're talking. How you doing?
Andrew, I'm doing great, but I have a question. Are you a Niners Nation boy now?
Yes, I am. Yes, I saw your announcement. I didn't want to take your thunder, but yes, I also have signed. I have the contract signed, sealed. I didn't get the fancy quill guide, the fancy quill that the Niners get to sign it with. But yes, I will be writing articles this season. I'm very, very excited. I'm very excited for the opportunity, and just another way that you and I are best friends and coworkers.
Sprint Ride Option Podcast, officially Niners Nation boys, both of us, and we both signed a deal today, man. I'm super stoked for you, bro. I can't wait.
I'm excited
to do this. Yeah, man. It's gonna be a lot of fun, man.
It's gonna be a lot of fun.
And we, no better way to celebrate that than the day of 53, the day where John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan cancel practice so they can have a press conference. A conference call. Let me just say that.
Yeah, it's conference
call, not a press conference. A lot of people were asking me, why isn't this on YouTube? It's literally them talking into a phone at this point. And shout out to Jesse. Nice Rick James shirt. Appreciate you, partner. I'm glad that you got that. You got that little nugget right there on that shirt. But yeah, man, congratulations to you. I can't wait. Yeah, I can't wait to read your stuff. And look at us.
Oh, yeah. Look at us. Who would have thought? Hey, so you mentioned Kyle Shanahan said some words today. So let's go over them. I think the one that was most concerning for everybody with the news yesterday. Who do you think's starting at quarterback? Jason, who do you think it is? Kyle Shanahan gave us an answer in case you were losing sleep over it. Trey is our starting quarterback. That's why Jimmy wasn't an option unless he came in as a backup role. This doesn't change anything, and I just feel like it makes us much better, or makes us a much better team, and it doesn't hurt our cap like it would have. And I know we've yes-anded ourselves into a spot of saying Jimmy's on the roster. He could start week one. Let's put that away. Let's put that in our back pocket. Like we said yesterday, we're going to talk about Jimmy Garoppolo today because he made the 53. We'll say his name later. The goal for this, especially for this podcast and how it should be on 49ers Twitter, is treat Jimmy Garoppolo as if he was Nate Sudfeld. Because that's all he is. I don't think, and we'll talk about it with the 53, my deeper thoughts on the quarterback position, but I don't think Kyle needed to say it. He said it. Trey Lance is your week one starter. There we go.
Yeah, and that's fine, and everything. Again, this is why it felt like when you hear Kyle Shanahan speak in his conference call, I was actually, lucky enough to be on the conference call to listen to it firsthand. He said that the reason that Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't anywhere near the team in meetings or in any sort of practices or anything like that, or had a playbook, was because he thought the idea of him being a backup was slim to none. And don't get it twisted. He said it many times. Backup. That's what I spoke to him about. We'd love for you to be a backup. If you don't find the opportunity out there, I believe is the direct quote. If you don't find the opportunity or the contract you're looking for out there, you should consider being our backup. He labeled that as slim to none. I would have labeled it as slim to none. But here we are. You find out where things lay, and this was the best option for both teams. There's no reason to kill each other over this. That's probably the best way to put it. There's no reason to kill each other over this because this isn't an indictment on Trey Lance. It's more an indictment on, hey, I can have the best backup quarterback in football. And I saw somebody bring up in the comments from yesterday, they brought up Tyler Huntley. That's a good one. That's a really good one as best backup. But I consider Jimmy Garoppolo a starter, hence making him the best backup. And that's my reasoning for that. But yeah, I mean, Kyle Shanahan himself felt like, hey, we're excited because we never thought we'd get to this place. And if Jimmy would have asked, push come to shove, and said, I need to get out of here, he would have been granted that. They would have done whatever he wanted. So that's why it feels more amicable than it sounds. And it's people diving a little too deep into what the reasoning was for this a little too far. That is like kind of putting people on edge. Like this has nothing to do with them feeling anything about Trey Lance. It's about them knowing I don't want Nate Sudfeld and I don't want Brock Purdy taking meaningful snaps for this team just in case. And also, Kyle Shanahan has a bit of PTSD, as I wrote on Niners Nation today when they asked about what was one of the reasons that this happened. He has a little PTSD of running out Nick Mullins, CJ Beathard when his quarterbacks go down.
Well, now I think especially with how the 53-man roster laid out, because we talked yesterday, if you're keeping Jimmy, there's no reason to keep Sudfeld. There's no reason to have Purdy on the 53-man roster. I think it was a situation where Purdy played so well, and you make the point of like he doesn't want a Mullins Beathard situation where Purdy earned the spot over Sudfeld, and Shanahan, as you said, didn't want to live in a world where he has 1.5, we'll call it 1.5 rookie quarterback. I know Lance isn't a rookie, but first year starter. And Shanahan wasn't going to do that. He didn't want to put himself in that situation again. So we love it. We love it. Block Splash Cousins, Block East Bay, Chris. We love it. No, I love the comments that take me off my train of thought.
That's my guy Ryo. So I'm gonna read it real quick. Great Niner coverage as always, gentlemen. Keep it up, and as always, Block East #Block East Bay Chris #Block Splash _cousin. Yes, that's always the movement.
I had Splash Cousins muted for a time being.
Wow.
For the story, but back to the original point. You guys are really good with the comments that get me off my train of thought. I love it. Yeah, I'm living in the conspiracy world that Brock Purdy forced the Niners to really reconsider the Jimmy Garoppolo situation, because I don't think there's any reason throughout this offseason. Like they said, yes, we're comfortable bringing him back. Yes, we're comfortable bringing him back. But they also weren't afraid to say, hey, we're also looking to trade him. And they found the middle ground. That's why I think the more I've removed myself from yesterday, we're 24 hours into the Jimmy Garoppolo era, part 74.
Revenge Tour 4.0.
Yeah, Revenge Tour 4.0, which we hope is just revenge. He's here and doesn't have to get in. But the more I thought about it, like this was probably the best move for the Niners, especially if we take Shanahan's word for it, that Lance is the starter. This isn't. And I saw somebody say, Ramon, I think Jimmy deserves a little more respect than being treated like he's Sudfeld. I didn't mean it like that. Obviously, they're not the same quarterback. What I mean by that,
I don't think he meant that you meant that. I think that he just meant that overall.
Yes, exactly. I think the way to word it is the way Jason and I have talked about Sudfeld is we don't want to talk about the backup quarterback position for 2022 because we want to be talking about Trey Lance. We don't want to be talking about Jimmy Garoppolo because if we're talking about Jimmy Garoppolo, something went wrong. And that's the best way to look at it. I don't think this is going to be a situation where if Trey Lance struggles for a few weeks, Kyle Shanahan's going to throw the teaser of Jimmy Garoppolo. The only way Jimmy Garoppolo plays for the 49ers this year is if Trey Lance, A, gets injured, or B, Trey Lance is capital B-A-D bad. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think this is going to be he's shaky. If he's shaky, work through it. He's going to have to figure out working through it anyways. The only way Garoppolo gets in is those two situations.
And I have to say that I'm wrong about something. I thought for sure Brock Purdy was going to be practice squad fodder. But I think when you really think about Brock Purdy and how high, because you heard Kyle Shanahan talk about him so much. And that's why John Lynch, during the call says, well, I'm going to drop something. Let's see who's fastest to Twitter. He literally said that during the conference call. And he said Brock Purdy made the 53. You have to look at it like this. Nate Sudfeld is a 7-year veteran. And they don't, there's no waiving process. So for the people that are a little confused about waiving and cutting is when you have 4 years of accrued service in the league. Then you get cut. When you don't, you get waived and you get sent through the waiver wire. You have to release Nate Sudfeld. If you put and sign Brock Purdy to hit the practice squad, it changes his contract. If you keep him on the 53, you have him for 4 more years cost controlled. And that's, I think, what really it boiled down to was they value Brock Purdy very well. Mm-hmm. He actually showed a bunch, I have to admit. I thought he was still going to make the practice squad. Didn't know that Jimmy Garoppolo was going to be on the 53. But you have to remember, this is how they're valuing Brock Purdy. And I think that that's savvy. That is very savvy because you don't know what you have in Brock Purdy. Why not have him cost controlled under your control for 4 years? Because he doesn't have a 5th-year option for 4 years. Yes, I think that made a lot of sense. And Andrew nailed it yesterday. He nailed it. If Jimmy Garoppolo is on this roster, Nate Sudfeld's gone. Yeah. There's no point to keeping Nate Sudfeld if you're going to keep Jimmy Garoppolo for this year. You keep Brock Purdy as opposed to that. Andrew nailed it. Way to go, buddy.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Actually, you could argue now that I think about it, if we're going like 4D chess. Jimmy Garoppolo restructure, very strange considering he got paid $25 million last year to teach a rookie quarterback. He took a pay cut to teach 2 rookie quarterbacks this year. So that's, you think he'd ask double the price since he's training double the place. I had to get the joke in there.
As we all know, Andrew, teachers are not paid what they're owed.
Exactly.
So that goes for the same in the NFL at this point.
Yes. Pay the teachers. Hashtag, if we're not paying Dante Johnson, hashtag pay the teachers. Am I right?
Take that money and give it to a teacher.
Take the money and give it to a teacher. Niners, get John Lynch, get it on the payroll. We love it. What else did Shanahan say before we transition to the 53? Did you want to touch on? Because the biggest thing to me was just kind of the reiteration that, hey, this is Trey Lance's team. Just because Jimmy Garoppolo's here doesn't change. This isn't a dual quarterback situation. I did like Jordan's idea though of Jimmy in for the quarterback sneaks, because that was something that was lacking this preseason. They were really bad in those 4th and 1 situations. They didn't really quite hit them. Jimmy G, quarterback sneak, quarterback.
The only oh my goodness, I'm not reading that comment. The other thing that I could think of right away that really jumped out at me when it comes to what he said was about and I also can confirm the smoke area. I mean I can't myself. Whatever, man. All right. What happened was when he said that Trey was psyched to get Jimmy in the building. And again, yesterday we spoke about, the detriment to the talk around it, but I never felt that Trey Lance would fold under that sort of talk or anything like that, right? And it goes to show that no matter what anybody wants to say, Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't answer the phone in the offseason, always a bad teammate. Kiss my ass. I don't care about that. Did you hear what Trey Lance said? Trey Lance wanted him back in there. His team goes to bat for him. I think that's one of the most overblown, dumb narratives ever. That's not the reason that he was not traded for. That had nothing to do with it. But I did like the idea that Kyle was talking about. Trey Lance was so on board with having Jimmy in there, and he advocated for it. And that goes to show a mentally tough kid. That's what's important.
I want to live in a world where they're so sold on Trey Lance that if he says no to that idea, it doesn't happen. Yeah. But for him to say yes is what pushed it. So I'm more confident. I know I sent the tweet that the Niners are going to improv themselves into Jimmy Garoppolo starting week 1. I'm more confident that I don't think we're going to see Jimmy Garoppolo in case of other than in a break glass in case of emergency situation. We're not going to get Jimmy Garoppolo on the Niners. Well, we will as a backup, but obviously not on the field or for those quarterback sneak situations, Jason. So we've discussed the quarterback at length. Obviously, this is the smooth transition to the 53-man roster. 3 quarterbacks, we mentioned them. Trey Lance, Jimmy Garoppolo, Brock Purdy, Nate Sudfeld being the man out. He gets released, as Jason said, the contract.
A nice $2 million, a nice little $2 million,
man, I had to pay to go to camp. He got $2 million to go to camp.
I had to fly to camp. I had to pay for my food. I mean, basically they paid Nate Sudfeld $2 million to throw footballs and run around for a little while. Not a bad gig, if you ask me.
Not too bad. Yeah, man. I mean, quarterback. We really just shared our thoughts on that all. So, I mean, did you have any secondary thoughts on the quarterback room? Because I think we just gave them all away.
Best quarterback room in the league, best linebacker room in the league, best defensive line room in the league. What more could you ask for? Best coaching staff in the league. This is your team, San Francisco 49ers fans, and that's the way you should be looking at it. Not, oh God, Jimmy's here. It's you're insulated. Your team is going to be successful one way or another this damn year, and I think that's damn fun.
We got Croc in the comments. Sudfeld 209 legend. He is. We were pulling for him. We were Sudfeld season until the very end, and
I wanted Sudfeld.
And thankfully Jimmy Garoppolo saved me from yesterday having to say I think the Niners should pick Purdy over Sudfeld, so I don't have to give in to what everybody wanted us to say for the whole preseason. So thank you, Jimmy Garoppolo, for that. On to the running backs now. The Niners keep 6, and that's the most Kyle Shanahan has kept, and that includes Juszczyk. So 5 running backs plus the fullback. I just throw Juszczyk in there. Plus the fullback since Shanahan's taken over. 4 running backs in 17, 5 and 18, 4 and 19, 5 and 20, 5 and 21, and 6 this year. The 6, Elijah Mitchell, Jeff Wilson, Tyrion Davis-Price, Trey Sermon, Jordan Mason, and Kyle Juszczyk. Jordan Mason, obviously, I think the surprise is not necessarily Jordan Mason. It's Jordan Mason and Trey Sermon, because it really felt like an either or situation. It felt like the Niners would maybe keep one of the three of Sermon, Mason, Hasty. I know Hasty was maybe the odd man out in any way, but 6 running backs, which includes the fullback, obviously, that's a lot. And we'll talk about a position in a little bit that maybe points to why the Niners have so many running backs.
I'm so happy for Jordan Mason, man. It is what it is. When it comes to Jermichael Hasty, I felt that he was the best pass catching back on their change of pace, but Jordan Mason's the complete guy. He's been that the entire time that they were there. You knew TDP was safe. You knew that Elijah was safe. You knew that Jeff Wilson was safe. I never really thought that Trey Sermon had an issue making this team, just because they're not going to get rid of him in any way at this point, just because they still feel that they can get more out of him. So it really boiled down to, what do? Do they carry 5 tailbacks and a fullback? And look, if Jordan Mason makes it to the waiver wire, he's not making it back. And they knew that. Like, it had gotten out too far gone. I will die on this hill. The most consistent running back, day in, day out on training camp. And people can try to argue. That's fine. You have your opinion. Opinions are wrong, and that opinion's wrong. Jordan Mason was the most consistent back every single day in camp, no matter how many reps he had. Absolutely ecstatic for this kid, man. Feels just like one of those deep dive Shanahan running backs that he finds. I wouldn't be shocked if you see him with a larger role in the middle of the season and eventually taking this thing over, man. I'm so happy.
And I'm happy that Mason made it. He was obviously one of the better running backs on the team. I'm happy to see Sermon made it. I think this will be the same conversation with Ambry Thomas and Diamador Lenore. It's hard to give up a player in his second year. So it's good the Niners are giving Sermon that chance. We'll see what his actual workload is, because I mean, there's an argument that he's the third, maybe fourth running back right now on this roster. Depends how high you are on Tyrion Davis-Price, or even Jordan. He might be the fifth if you're really that high on Jordan Mason. So we'll see where Trey Sermon lands. Jermichael Hasty, the odd man out, which I don't know if was much a surprise, because Hasty the past few years, he's been that guy who's missed the roster, who goes to the practice squad just to get called up at some point in the season and just kind of stick on the roster. So, I mean, that to me is about what I expected. I think, as I said, the surprise was Sermon and Mason at the running back. The receivers, another surprising move, maybe a little bit, it's a decent sized surprise. I'm not going to underplay it. Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Jawan Jennings, Ray McLeod, and Danny Gray make the 5 receivers. The cut is Malik Turner. Jason, you and I talked about him. We thought he would make it, not just for his receiving ability, but his special teams ability. A team that says they want to turn the corner on special teams compared to last year. We'll see if Malik Turner makes it through waivers to come back on the practice squad. I don't see why he wouldn't. I could see a team seeing his special team stuff and saying, yeah, we'll take a flyer on him. But maybe Malik Turner comes back on the 53, or excuse me, the practice squad.
A little shocked that Malik Turner didn't make it. I'll be honest with you. And for that reason, also, he's not a bad deep threat, which goes with, with Trey Lance's skill set. He's a guy who has a pedigree in this league. He's been in the league for many teams, played for the Seahawks, played for the Cowboys. Thought for sure he was going to make this team. That was a little bit shocking to see today. It really was. But again, now that you're carrying 3 quarterbacks, you're going to carry 6, for all intents and purposes, running backs. Somebody's got to go. And I think it boiled down to Malik Turner. There is a small chance that Malik Turner clears, can find his way back. That's the thing, is everybody's down to this number now, 53. And nobody has spots. They've got their 53. So how are they bringing people in? So, I think a lot of people have it messed up in certain ways. There's certain guys, I agree with, I believe it was Jesse who said Jordan Mason was out there, Seattle would have scooped them up. 100% agree. 100% agree with that. 100%. Especially with the injuries that they have over there, they absolutely would have. But other than that, a lot of teams don't even have room for these guys. So they end up just floating around. They end up moving back and forth between practice squad, between 53-man rosters. And again, your 53-man roster doesn't actually have to be set. This is initial 53. Doesn't have to be set until September 10th. So that's why Jordan Willis is coming back. That's why this guy's coming back. Tyler Cross coming back. So again, there's a lot of roster maneuvering still out there. But I do think that fans have it a little bit in their mind that guys are just going to automatically get scooped up. There's only so many spots. And the 49ers are not the only team that is having trouble keeping talented football players in their building because it's a numbers crunch. So, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens with Malik Turner. I think it's more likely than not he comes back because, as Jason said, every team cut down to who they liked. It's going to be hard to move one of those off to replace it for a guy that you have nothing really on outside of some tape in preseason. So we'll see what happens with Malik Turner. I wouldn't be surprised if he's back on the practice. I wouldn't be surprised if he's on the 53 or the 46 in week 1, knowing his special teams and seeing what he can do. So we'll see what happens there. Tight end,
question real quick.
Yeah.
I know we're doing some serious stuff, but like the NFL needs to incorporate some sort of WWE tactic in how this works, right? So like, you have your roster, you have your opening day, you have your team day roster, right?
Yes.
You have it. But you can call like on somebody to run down from the stands that's like a football player to come join you like real quick, like out of nowhere. Like they put the spotlight on like the top,
yes.
and the guy comes running down. Oh my God, it's Jordan Mason. Here he comes, man.
It's a random mystery player every week. It's just
right.
Because that's
right.
That's one of the things Vince McMahon got right, was like to build the suspense. You got to build the suspense. So yeah, I think mystery 53rd man. I think
or 54th man that you can like bring in and out. Like it's okay, it's just one guy, but like that's Jordan Mason's music. Oh my God!
And
he comes running down the stage.
Sometimes the spotlight hits the top of the stands and it's nobody, but then it goes up in the rafters and it's Sting.
It's Sting, and he's just up there like I couldn't get a seat. I had to watch up here.
WWE here on the Straight Right Option podcast.
No ID says Jordan Mason would have Edge's intro song. That's it.
Now, rated R superstar Edge or Edge and Christian? Because there's two different Edges there.
There you go.
Rated R superstar is the best. Hey, 3 tight ends for now. I'll throw the asterisks out there. Let me list the 3 tight ends initially announced.
Wait, George Kittle made the team?
George Kittle made the team. Shocker. I saw a breaking news tweet that Justin Herbert made the Chargers 53 as well. Shocker, right?
I was nervous about him. I was on the fence.
Rush Dwelly and Charlie Warner, they make the initial 53. But the fun thing about the initial 53 is it's the initial 53 for today and today only, because tomorrow the Niners are going to move Jimmy Ward and Curtis Robinson to the IR, short-term IR, so they missed the first 4 weeks. Tyler Kroft and Jordan Willis, spoiler, Jordan Willis didn't make the 53, will be signed to replace them. So the Niners, for right now, 3 tight ends, but tomorrow, 4 tight end team, 6 running backs, chunky team running. We like it. We like to run first Niners.
I mean, yes, and we thought that that's exactly what was going to happen. It's funny, the same things that Jock Peterson got slapped for are the things that the 49ers are about to do with their roster, right? Like it's poor Jock Peterson.
They're manipulating the roster.
It's good tactics. I'm doing it right now in my dynasty league, right? If a guy's on PUP, you're getting put in IR. I pick up Jordan Mason. I throw him in my taxi squad. It's all good. It's all good. All of these things. This is exactly what's happening. But yeah, the 4 tight ends. Tyler Kroft is going to find his way back. Shout out again to Andrew for talking about the tight ends yesterday and talking about 4 tight ends. Tyler Kroft had made that type of impression. And yes, the 49ers, put the kids to bed, are going to run the shit out of the ball this year. Yeah, like 35, 40 times every single game, man. Like, dude, how are you going to win the NFC?
I'm so excited.
I'm
so excited to be that one fan to be like, dude, what if the Niners just run the triple option? Like, just do it. And I'll hype it. They'll never do it, but they'll run it one time. They'll run it in like week 8. I'll come on the pod the next day. It's like, oh my God, triple option. It got 4 yards for Tyrion Davis-Price, but like, why don't they incorporate it more? So I'm going to be that guy. I'm a big run guy. So I love it. I'm excited. Speaking of running, they keep 9 offensive linemen. Trent Williams, shocker. Aaron Banks, Jake Brendel, Spencer Burford, Mike McGlinchey, Jaylen Moore, Colton McKivitz, Nick Zackel, Daniel Brunskill, the 2 surprising cuts here. Justin School, not really surprising, just notable because we've known him for a bit. And Jason Poe. I'm guessing the big surprise here is Zackel, but it shouldn't be too much of a surprise because the Niners like their versatile offensive linemen.
Yeah, Nick Zackel, it's not a big surprise at all. I mean, again, I think that's kind of what led to Jason Poe's downfall, is that he isn't as versatile. He can only play inside. But man, I would have loved to have seen him make this roster and see him make it work, man. And who knows? I think he slides through. I don't think anybody really is going to be nipping at his heels when it comes to that. So he'll find a way to get there. The Donovan West thing is the part that I am just like, man, what? Like, when you look at how many people had him mocked early on, and then when you look at the guaranteed contract that they gave him, and then he gets waived. It's like, man, I didn't see that coming. I knew Sutherland wasn't going to make it. I knew school was done. Like, he just was, like, not playing well at all. I knew McKivitz would make it. They trusted him in a Week 18 game. You know, again, the best kind of backup linemen are the ones that you don't know their name because they never have to play or anything like that. And McKivitz would be one of those guys. Jaylen Moore, I figured, would make this team as well. It's too early to give up on him. Dan Brunskill is probably going to get sent to some sort of IR designation as well, too. That'll probably open up another spot. So it's still a lot of roster maneuvering. We're going to find things out. But, yeah, I got to say, man, the Jason Poe thing, it was a little disappointing to hear, man. We all were rooting for him, man. I love this game. He did so well. Jordan Mills was let go. Veteran, it makes sense. He wasn't playing very well. You know, I don't think the offensive line played very well at all in the Houston game, pretty much from anybody. But, yeah, it's a little shocking to see Jason Poe go.
Yeah, it's such a tricky position too, because it's you hope it comes down to hoping the five hold and stay healthy all season. And as you said, you don't want to know the names of these guys, because if Jaylen Moore, Colton McKivitz, nothing against them, something's not right, because you have your five guys, and it's ideally, I'm assuming it's Williams, Banks, Brendel, Burford, McGlinchey at this point. I'm guessing that's the five for the starters. So we'll see. Zackles, it's a good one to see. JKBG, what the hell am I going to do with all these sexy Sudfeld jumbo-sized thongs I ordered? Hey, just
hold on to him. Just hold on to him. He'll be back. He'll be back.
Send one my way, but that'll be between us. Just DM me. We got this.
Christ, man. What are we even doing here now?
So now we're on the other side of the ball.
Well, hold on. I did want to talk about Kamoko Toure.
Yeah, we're getting to the defensive line.
No, we're not even defensive line. Sorry.
We're transitioning to the defensive line. Other side of the ball to the defensive line. Nick Bosa, they kept 9. Nick Bosa, Javon Kinlaw, Charles Omenihu, Kerry Hyder, podcast loves that. Hassan Ridgeway, Drake Jackson, Eric Armstead, Samson Ebukam, Kevin Givens. The 3 notable cuts, Jordan Willis, as I mentioned earlier, he's going to be on the team tomorrow. Alex Barrett and Jason, I got a feel that you want to talk about the Kamoko Toure cut. So you want to say something about that?
Just a little shocking. I think that Drake Jackson's emergence has kind of made him a little bit expendable because he can only play one spot, and Kerry Hyder seems to be playing inside more. And it's a good problem to have. I'm just a little shocked myself. Like, I had him penciled in, ready to go. Not many 5.5 sack guys going to be floating out around there. I would be shocked if Toure doesn't land somewhere else. But again, this defensive line is stacked, man. Like, they are legit. Like, think about this 1 through 9. It's 9 of them, right? 1 through 9.
Yes.
Think about it. Even all the way to the last person, and it'll be Jordan Willis. Jordan Willis is a 49er legend for what he did in Green Bay. And whenever he's pressed into duty, he performs. Chris Kosuric gets the most out of all of these guys. So while I'm shocked that Toure didn't make it, I think it just speaks to another thing the 49er fans should be excited about, is that your team is so deep that they're kicking away guys that are actual contributors. It's not that Kamoko, I keep calling him Kamoko is not good at football, right? It's not that he's not good. It's just because you got to get under a numbers crunch. So it was a little shocking to see that. But at the same time, when you step back and you think about what they're trying to do and what they have and the way that they're going to use Kerry Hyder had to play outside in 2020 because every single person was injured. Like, he had to do that. That's not what they want to do. They're going to have him inside more and more. That's good depth right there. Yeah, I love it, man. And we got a huge, huge donation, man.
Thank you, Gray Fox, yelling at us.
Yes.
Jason Mason season. He will be RB run by week 4. I effing love this podcast. Keep up the great content. Gray Fox, we appreciate you. You've been a day one. I've seen your name for years. It's so weird, Jason, that we can say years on this podcast. We're coming up on season 3. Unbelievable. Gray Fox has been a day one. We appreciate the donation. We love you. We love everything about you, all of you guys. So thank you very much for the donation.
Gray Fox, thank you so much for your generosity. We really appreciate that, man. Appreciate the kind words about loving the podcast, man. Sometimes we feel like we're talking to just a few people sometimes, but you guys are the most knowledgeable, respectful fan base, man, and we appreciate you guys tuning in, man, and thank you for the generosity. And yes, it is Jordan Mason's season. What are we talking about, man? Like, I've done the entire time when we were at camp, I had done fantasy football podcasts or like people were asking me to come on and talk, and they're like, well, what about Elijah Mitchell? I was like, I don't want to talk about Elijah Mitchell, man. I want to talk about Jordan Mason. I want to talk about Elijah Mitchell. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, I had to do it outside. Yeah. I was like, I don't want to talk about Elijah Mitchell. I want to talk about Jordan Mason. Jordan Mason is a 3-down back, has a chance to really take this thing all the way over. Say, I don't want to talk about Elijah Mitchell. That's too easy. But yeah, Jordan Mason, man, so happy for him. And thank you again, Gray Fox, for your generosity, man. We really, really appreciate it.
I think to me, the biggest surprise for approximately 5 minutes was the Jordan Willis move. Before the news came out that he was signing tomorrow, I felt Jordan Willis was a shoo-in for this roster. And I know he's coming back. So like, this is kind of everybody, let's go back in time. Breaking news: Jordan Willis cut by the Niners. We don't know he's coming back tomorrow. So like, let's put ourselves in that mindset. Shocker. I'm wondering if the relationship with Chris Kocurek with Kerry Hyder, because Kocurek has had ties with Detroit, San Francisco, now San Francisco again, got him that spot. Because what's the difference between it's semantics at this point. Okay, now we're finding out that Jordan Willis is being signed tomorrow. What's the difference between cutting Kerry Hyder and knowing Jordan Willis? You obviously Willis is coming back if you're cutting him and signing him right away. It's just interesting. What do you think went into that? I'm assuming a contract thing, maybe.
Yeah, I think it was just an understanding of, you're not going to go through waivers. You have too much time in this league, so you are going to be released. You're not going to look at any other team. You're not going to listen to any other offers. We're going to bring you back tomorrow, and we're also going to stop giving you that stupid 75 number that you have on there. Jordan
Give
Willis,
him 52.
Please
let him my Patrick Willis 52 would be reusable, would it not? It would be a great marketing idea. Niner fans can bring it back. I don't know. I think if you're retiring a number and somebody has that same last name and wants that number, I think that would be a thing. Imagine a number 2 Jeter in 30 years.
No,
for the Yankees?
Absolutely not. Look, everyone in the chat is crushing you right now, and they should, man. No,
nobody wants to live on my hypothetical. If a player has a retired number, if in 10 years the Niners draft a kid whose last name is Rice, 80 Rice, I don't like that I don't like anybody is not picking up on my sarcasm right
Talk to him right now, man. Talk to him right now,
Unbelievable.
Man. I am disappointed.
Nobody wants to entertain my fun.
He means that. Who has McKinnon's number?
Who has McKinnon's number?
Yeah. You know who has McKinnon's number? Sermon. Damn it. Yeah, I wore the McKinnon jersey on State of the Franchise, and everybody was like, nice Sermon jersey. And I was like, don't you ever disrespect me like that ever.
How dare they hand out Jimmy Garoppolo's number once again after he was obviously leaving? How dare they give out 10 so early?
Nobody's picking up on your sarcasm. They got the pitchforks out on you, man. Dude, these guys are ready for blood.
Dude, I know somebody already has it clipped, unretired 52 for Jordan Willis. But not picking up the sarcastic side at the end.
I would implore all of you guys to make sure you clip this and do not put that he was kidding in any way. Let's cook Pasquini on the timeline. That he's a Niners Nation boy now, and he thinks that he can just say things like this now, man. You are not representing the brand at all, my friend.
Okay, if we're talking 53-man roster. If we're giving Jordan Willis a new number, what are we giving him? What's on the table? What's a good edge? Just anything in the 90s?
Give him back 94.
94.
Give him back 94. 75 is gross. 75 feels like...
Oh, yeah, he was 94. When did that change happen?
This year.
I just realized that,
I was at camp, and I'm like, oh, that was a nice rep by 75. Who the hell was that? And Jordan's like, Jordan Willis. Yeah. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? I was like, he's not 94, man. I'm taking that to Twitter for a roasting. Cook his ass, Ramon. Cook his ass.
Own that bozo, Ramon. Okay. That's a lot of good Jordan.
You dug your own grave today, man.
A lot of good Jordan Willis talk. Apparently, we're anti-retiring 52 for a guy whose last name is Willis. My bad. I apologize.
That's what you get.
And I'll do a notes app apology on Twitter later tonight. I got you guys. Hey, the 49ers.
There's a deep drive to right field.
The 49ers kept 6 linebackers, although they're little asterisks by that, because as I said earlier, Curtis Robinson IR tomorrow, 5 linebackers. But hey, 49ers have 5. Fred Warner, shocker, right? We're going to run that joke into the ground today. Yeah. Azeez Al-Shaair, Dre Greenlaw, Oren Burks, Curtis Robinson, and DFF Hive is strong. Demetrius Flanagan fouls, the one missing the cut, Marcelino McCrary Ball, and it makes sense. The 5 felt like it was set, but he deserves the roster
and
spot.
Hyphenated name. That's another Pasquini, check mark. If you have a hyphenated name, check mark.
Tariq Castro Fields.
Tariq Castro Fields is the only
Tyrion Davis
Price.
A lot of them.
McCrary Ball,
Azeez Al-Shaair. We're just listing. Ray McCloud. First name, dude, we are way off the rails at this point.
No, we're not. We're on to something. It has to do with hyphenated names.
Yes, maybe. Andrew Pasquini Aponte. Boom.
No, absolutely not. All right, but with linebackers, Oren Burks is primarily going to be the first man up, probably if there is an injury. And again, on base downs, it's going to be those three guys. When it's nickel, obviously you're going to get Samuel Womack. And we'll talk about them in a bit. But Oren Burks is primarily going to be special teams. It's what he was brought here to do. High motor, actually, and again, when Dre Greenlaw had a day off, when one of these guys had a day off, Oren Burks was the first one that was up with in training camp. So, yeah, it's not shocking to see him here. And the 49ers have made a big effort to fix their special teams, even if they haven't fixed their punter.
Yes.
I got you late. I did
not expect that random.
I got you late. It was right there.
Oren Burks with the special teams for sure. But, yeah, he's shown that he deserves to be the fourth linebacker. Now, obviously, we've gone through this conversation. Niners basically run a 5-2 base 4-3. He's the fourth linebacker behind Alshire Greenlaw. So we'll see what the Niners do with that in terms of the depth. And obviously, we've had plenty of Azeez Alshire, Dre Greenlaw conversation.
Everybody wants to know about Jordan Mason.
Not to bring it that. We're big on Jordan Mason. How many yards for Jordan Mason this year? More than Mitchell.
Scott, this is a very level-headed podcast. And we are trying to be rooted in reality. The most yards that anybody's ever had in a season, Jordan Mason, and he's not going to play the first 4 weeks. You do with that information what you may. No, I don't know if he'll have more than Mitchell, but he's going to have a significant role one way or another. But I will say this, Jordan Mason has the skill set to be a three-down guy, never come off the field. And the 49ers have not had that. Out of necessity, they've had it with Elijah Mitchell. But I'm talking about skill set. Like the three-down backs, when you really think about them that are in this league, it's not even Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor doesn't do that. He comes off for Naheem Hines. McCaffrey, I guess, Kamara, there's not really many of them. But Jordan Mason does have that skill set, especially while he's so cheap and he's so young. So how many yards for Mason this year? I'm going to say 650 at least.
Okay.
But he has a shot that, if things don't go well and Elijah Mitchell ends up banged up, that he is the starter all through the year. And he doesn't come off the field on any downs because he's great in pass pro. That's the one thing that you guys have to remember. If you're not good in pass pro, they're not going to put you in certain situations. But there's a reason that they kept Jordan Mason on his 53. And it's not because we've been yelling for him. Trust me. Despite what Mike Lombardi thinks, Mike Lombardi, not David Lombardi.
Yes.
David Lombardi's cool. We're good with David Lombardi. Mike Lombardi thinks this team doesn't listen to Twitter and they don't listen to us. So, he's again with the narrative that we pushed them away from Mac Jones. If we did, good, but we didn't.
I would just be so ecstatic to have proof that Kyle Shanahan actually 2% cares what I say.
He doesn't care about.
He doesn't. Us. I just love the thought of it. Yeah,
he watches us and he says, "Damn, they liked my fit in Green Bay."
Yes.
They were like, "Oh, they thought it was hard too," because I thought it was hard. Yeah, and Kyle, and then Kyle just taps out.
Kyle's on the phone right now with Jed York saying, "This guy's onto something with unretiring 52 for Jordan Willis." And what he's saying right now is we need to stop them because they're onto our hyphenated names ploy with this roster. They're they're cracking the code too far, man. So there's the linebacker thoughts. We transitioned to Jordan Mason, famed linebacker for the 49ers, obviously. But no, we appreciate the donation. Thanks for the question, as always. 5 cornerbacks, and I'm not going to mention Dante Johnson here because I consider him a safety at this point. Charvarius Ward, Emmanuel Mosley, Samuel Womack, Deommodore Lenoir, Ambry Thomas, the 2 cut big names, Quantrez Knight, Tariq Castro Fields, and then just a reminder that Jason Verrett's on the PUP list, I believe it is. So it's word on the streets, Fields has something to prove.
You hear that?
I did not. What did I miss?
Darnell Mooney said that Justin Fields said he wants to make the 49ers regret passing on him at number 3.
Would have been more impressive if he did that last year in the regular season.
He almost did. He almost said he
cooked tonight. Debo Samuel won that game.
No. That was Justin Fields' best game. That was Justin Fields' best game of the season. Yeah.
I wanted to rile you up a little bit.
No, I was there, and I was like, it was so weird because I'm just sitting there like he ran that touchdown in on that 4th down, and I was like, and somebody's like, "Oh, look at your boy," and I'm like,
Did you wear the Fields jersey?
No. I had a bet. if the 49ers lost, I had to do the podcast in a Fields jersey.
You know what I think would be funny, and this is between you and I, not on the internet. I think it'd be funny.
It's on the internet.
If week 1 prediction podcast, you go Fields jersey, I go my Mitch MVP shirt, my Bears hat. We just confuse there, but like the thing is we won't be live, so like they'll be yelling at us. They won't know. And
all right, yeah. Because,
I think that'd be funny. Yeah.
Spoiler alert, guys. The preview podcast is going to be on September 9th. I will upload it and be set on a premiere, but I will not be here. I will be crying my eyes out watching Derek Jeter at Hall of Fame Day in Yankee Stadium. But
so next Friday, if we're not answering your questions, we aren't live. So there you go. That's why. So
we're not going to be live.
We want to make you guys aware as early as possible. Hence, we're telling you 10 days beforehand. We're not live next Friday, so we should wear the Bears stuff. I think that'd be fun. We're not going to. That was also a joke, guys. I'm really angering people today.
I'm getting really close to a bet with somebody who's a Bears fan that is saying that I have to do the post game show in a Fields jersey if they wind up losing, and I'll take that bet 10 out of 10 times.
Well, good thing the Niners are winning 27-10.
Justin, leader of the Jordan Mason hive. Technically, Jordan Mason goes by JP for his middle name, Ponches, which almost gives him a hyphenated name.
Googling this.
If
we can make another hyphenated name, Ponches. Oh my God, it comes up. Jordan Ponches. Yeah,
Justin knows.
Justin's
been driving the bus. Justin's been driving the bus before we even got to see him on the practice field. So
his Twitter name is Jordan Ponches Mason at JP Mason 27. So
get that 27 back for him, please. I don't like the 41. Let's move on. Let's move
on. Hey, we're on the cornerbacks. Actually, we haven't talked about the cornerbacks. Travarius Ward, Emmanuel Mosley, Samuel Womack, Deommodore Lenoir, Ambry Thomas. The 2 missing the cut: Quantrez Knight, Tariq Castro Fields, and then, as I said, Jason Verrett PUP list. He's in play somewhere somehow. Pretty chalk for me here. I don't think there's any surprises. We were big on Quantrez Knight. I think Tariq Castro Fields showed a little bit in the preseason, especially against the Texans. I thought Tariq Castro Fields had a pretty good game against the Texans, but it makes sense going the safe route, likely practice squad.
Yeah, I feel bad for the guy that you mentioned.
Tariq Castro Fields, Quantrez Knight.
Quantrez Knight. Yeah, he played very well. Unfortunately, again, this is no indictment on the way that he plays football. I don't think this is an indictment on Tariq Castro Fields either. It's just you have to get to 53. And you have to remember, guys are going to be invested in who they first invested in, right? Like, we could say whatever we want about Ambry Thomas or Deommodore Lenoir, but they're going to get every single shot from this coaching staff. And I don't think that there was anything that really jumped out to me that I was like, oh, I don't get this move. I think this was, like you said, this was pretty tame.
Yeah, I think this was the chalkiest pick. I thought linebacker would be, but the Curtis Robinson toss-in felt little out of left field. And
McCrary Bortles.
Yeah, McCrary. But I thought the Curtis Robinson, not to make the cornerbacks about the linebacker, just like they have to like him if they're trying to get him on the IR.
Yeah.
So take that for what it's worth. But yeah, cornerback, nothing shocking, nothing too shocking. So I think that's straightforward. So let's move on to safety and where it gets a little fuzzier, I guess. Talanoa Hufanga, Tarvarius Moore, George Odom, Jimmy Ward. Hey, for the last time, Jimmy Ward's on IR tomorrow. Jordan Willis, Tyler Kroft signed. We got it. The shocking name, and like knock on wood, obviously, Dante Johnson, Tashawn Gibson. You mentioned Gibson wanting to be the guy to replace Ward maybe in week 1, week 4, all that. Is this the end for Dante Johnson or no?
No, stop it, man.
Let me be over dramatic. Allow me to be over dramatic.
The end? No. If they have understandings with Jordan Willis and other guys about being back, it's about we're just gonna cut you, go home, chill out for a little bit. We'll call you next week, and you get to be right back over here. My only hesitance would be there are far too many 49er coaching tree guys out there now that will.
You're trying to tell me Robert Saleh doesn't want to take a flyer on that?
You're trying to tell me that maybe Zach Taylor doesn't want to take a shot at him, or like any of these other guys that have watched him, like, flourish under them. Robert Saleh is definitely one that jumps to mind. I watched Quan Alexander take a man's soul the other day, in the preseason game, that he's on the Jets now. So yeah, the Jets are literally operating their team as like San Francisco East, and literally bringing over all of those things, even though Tevin Coleman got cut today, unfortunately. Shout out to Tico. But yeah, I like the head. You have some hair. Nice hair. Thumbs up. My friend Rick Diaz made me laugh.
So I guess my question on the safety is, and just maybe the initial 53 panic question. If Jimmy Ward's going on the IR and one of the moves is not for a safety replacement, I know we have 2 weeks to kind of figure this out. What are the Niners doing at safety for week 1? Is it Dante Johnson? Like, what's the corresponding move to get, say, Dante Johnson back on the roster, or let's get Wild Jaquaski Tart on the roster? Like, what's the move? Is it an IR spot? What, like, it just, or is it roll with 3 safeties?
I think you can roll with 3 safeties in week 1, but if that doesn't work, then that's when you have to start to make a call to some other people. Look, I don't want to be the wet blanket. Jaquaski's not coming back.
No, he's not. He's not. I just throw it out there just for the people.
If the 49ers was smart, now that you got all this extra money, you cleared up some extra money. Why don't you get a guy? It's so funny to watch everybody who has like talked crazy about Tart completely flip their script right now at this point because Jimmy Ward won't play. Funny how that works, right? Oh, but I thought you trusted the safeties. I thought you trusted. So you don't. Okay, got it now. I think you only trusted it because you thought Jimmy Ward was going to be there. Now Jimmy Ward's not there, and now you're scared. Yeah. Oh, funny how that works. But yeah, Tart's not coming back. Tart's not coming back. That's it. And they can get through week 1 with Odom, Tarvarius Moore, and Hufanga. They can get through it, and they'll figure that out. And Dante can come back another week, whatever it is, but they'll figure it out. But yeah, Tart's not coming back, man. That's it. It's done.
So, yeah. We said it yesterday, likely not going to happen.
No.
So let's not get into it.
Why would you come back? Why?
I don't know. No good reason to. But hey, we got to talk about things on Twitter, right? There's not enough to talk about on 49ers Twitter.
I just love how Jaquaski Tart is out, or Jaquaski Tart is released. Oh, bring Tart home. Oh, now it's home. Y'all some funny ass people, because I could go back and dig up all your tweets right after the NFC Championship game, bro. Like, it's right there on the internet, man. Y'all been saying some crazy shit about him, man. 3
specialists, Jason. Are you ready?
Go.
Robbie Gold, Mitch Wisnowski, Tabor Pepper. The chalkiest of chalk.
Robbie Gold, the best kicker in the league. Tabor Pepper, the best long snapper in the league. Whatever, Mitch Wisnowski. Thank you for making the team.
He exists.
Thank you for making the team.
So there are the 53 on the San Francisco 49ers. The initial 53. Enjoy it for the next 24 hours because it's not going to be the same when you wake up tomorrow morning. But that's the initial 53, Jason Aponte. It was a fun episode. I don't know when we're going to be live. Obviously, for sure, not live next Friday, but we'll have an episode next Friday to preview Niners Bears. We're back to the 2 episodes a week, previews, reviews.
And we won't be live this Friday either. I'm going to do a stupid fantasy football draft, like at a place that I have to like go to. It's like high stakes, so I'm sorry. But
do those people know what the internet is?
Well, they do, but it's more fun when you do it that way with the board and everything. It's way more fun that way. And it tests people's skill, because people will be in front of their computer and they'll see like 3-4 names and they'll just be like, oh, the one on the top is the one I want to take. No. Like, when the board is up there and you've got to actually like say a name and run it to the board, that's when you separate the men from the boys.
Yes. Beautiful. Jason, enjoy that fantasy draft. Yeah, I don't know when we'll be back. Obviously, if news breaks, we'll be here.
Yes. If something big happens, or if something like that happens, then we'll just make a move and we'll just go to it. But hey, man, Andrew Pasquini's a Niners Nation, boy. That's
Jason Aponte is a Niners Nation as well. So that's going to be exciting.
Sprint Right Option Podcast, some Niners Nation boys.
We love it. Hopefully I'll have a few articles coming out here soon. So I'll have some background stuff to get through first. But hey,
I got some stuff that I'm working on tonight that'll probably be good to go for tomorrow as well too. So yeah, man, make sure you guys are tuned in with them, man. Shout out to KP, shout out to Jordan Elliott, Kosh, all those guys that we're gonna get to join, man. Humbled, honored, excited more than anything, about this opportunity.
I'm very excited as well. It's going to be fun, Jason. I'm very excited to talk about this team. As I said, and I don't think it's changed. This is the most excited I've been for a Niners team in a very long time. So,
hey, Rick, I'm sorry, man. I can't make it to week 1. I went to Chicago last year, man. I mean, if you're going to another game, I think the 2 that I have circled right now are home opener and Atlanta. So if you can make it to one of those games, let's get it or whatever. But yeah, I appreciate the kind words, Rick. And yeah, I'm always down to link and meet up people and talk Niners football, man. Appreciate those kind words.
We love it, Ramon. Hey,
After the Willis comment, Niners Nation revoked for Andrew.
it never happened. I don't know what you guys are talking about. That never happened. There's no evidence, no nothing. No nothing. Hey, Jason, be excited for me tonight. I got slow pitch softball playoffs tonight.
We'll crush it.
First game 7:30,
which isn't hard to be at this point.
Yes. First game 7:30, we win. Championship at 8:30. We're going back to back. I don't take my Niners card. I mean, I would just, I'm sorry, guys. That's a little far. I just go be with Jameis until he comes to the Niners inevitably. One day we gotta will that. We gotta
end this episode now.
We gotta end this episode now. Jason Aponte, as always. Good thing I have the secret phrase in my back pocket. Jason Aponte, as always.
Let's go Niners.
Let's go Niners. Let's have fun.
Welcome, everybody.
We are live.
My name is Jason Aponte.
I am Andrew Pasquini.
We're working. That's it. We're working over here. That's it. Let's go Niners.
Let's go